Bam, bam, bam. He or she said, cancel this damn show. They hate it. What? Hold on. Wait a minute.
Make black hair great again.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Now, woo.
We're coming. Get our check.
Cheryl, Morrow, the one, the only, the hair oracle.
Well, I think it was Red Dot, and then we also had a cosmetology school instructor in the chat, Miss Denise West, Michelle Allen, Miss Foster. Dang, I missed your name. It's always nice to see Miss Foster in the chat. Michelle Allen, you know how much we love you too.
What? About a whole lot of peace. Cheryl, you order that in a bag of chips. Do your heart. Let us do your heart. We are 100. We do mean 141 episodes of pure and unadulterated talk about the dumbest. And we do mean the dumbest shit that people say about black hair. This is America's favorite podcast about Afro hair. We are so glad that you guys are going to be joining us for these 141 episodes. This one particular anyway, it's about the natural hair movement that ignored its history. And so it's me, your homegirl Ladosha, Wright, aka Key Lolo. And they're right over there. Y'all know who it is. Bam! It's my BMF, the hair oracle, aka Cheryl Morrow, is in the chat. And boy, are we excited to be kicking off 2025, addressing the progression or regression or digression or recession or procession. We go on that confession about the natural hair movement. After all, it's why we have this podcast. So Cheryl, what's happening in your neck of the woods? And we know the fires, they're not in your neck of the woods per se, but we know that's a real thing over in California. So how's it going in sunny San Diego?
Peaceful, nice, long as everybody's sailing, and I don't know what's going on, but it is like summer.
It feels like summer. And they say that the global warming isn't happening. I mean, the climate changes since the beginning of time. It's not like, I don't understand how they can deny it. I mean, if you live, I don't care where you live and you've lived long enough. Now, maybe if you're like under 20, you may not notice anything. But if you're over 25, I don't care where you're living, you do know that something is going on with the weather. And it's part, I don't think people realize planet Earth be trying to get rid of humans. We got bugs and animals and viruses and tsunamis and forest fires. Planet Earth is on beast mode. Am I tripping or?
No. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't think people realize the ferociousness of this planet.
And the funny thing is that it is unseasonably warm at night. Like, yeah, it's like this at night. It's okay. It's 67 here.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of
67. Yeah. I don't know about the chat, but if anybody was born in 67, holla at your girl. Holla at your girl. It's a nice quasi balmy 67. Woo, the chat is lit. What's up, everybody? Instagram chat too, like new body formations. Girl, I need that handle. Air love, what's going on? I am CF2. You be rocking it out with us, Sir Pooh. How you do, boo? Great trials. Ooh, great trials. I wonder if your hair gray like that because I can't really tell. What's up, Instagram? Instagram is always rocking it out with us. It's so nice to see everybody again. We are 141 episodes in, and this particular podcast, we are going to address this whole natural hair movement. 25 years. We're going to spend the whole year doing a countdown on the dumbest shit that came out of it. By the way, we gotta unpack it so that we can, because on the Afro Hair Science, this is the year of progress. So in order for us to move forward, we got to talk about, what they say, tell it to them like a TI is. So that natural hair movement is still happening, though it's losing its momentum, but we definitely need to have that conversation. And then right here on YouTube, of course, what's up, Kay Washington? How you doing? Our virtual co-host, Sandra E, is in the chat. We got Michelle Allen. You can check her out. She's our superstar in our intro. So what's up, Michelle Allen? And then, of course, LB, she had to make some runs. I told her pick me up some bologna, some cheese, Eckrich, that is. Yep, I still eat bologna. I'm not ashamed to say. I am not ashamed. I was with my granddaughter. I babysit her on Mondays, and I had my little bologna sandwich. She was looking at me like, Big Ma, what is that you eating? I was like, come on, grandbaby, just make my mama eat my bologna sandwich while I hold you here. She's like, you just better not get that mustard in my heart. And that's what grandmas do. I'm so glad to be a grandmother. You have no idea. I'm just enjoying it. And she's so smart. She loves for me to read to her. And when I don't read, she actually has a hissy fit. So I record her while she's like, yeah. And then I'll pull out the book and she'll be like, and she swears she can read. She's only 4 months. That's the thing that cracks me up. I'm like, I ain't trying to say my grandbaby's special. I'm sure our baby.
Oh my God.
Please, but you know how it is when it's your grandbaby. You think it's special. What's up, Ernisa? How you doing? Boski? You like, oh, good evening. So glad. So we're gonna, so before we this is our new format for 2025. I know last year we were doing like current events and we kind of, got you guys in, but this time, because we're really serious about the dumbest shit, we got to talk about these ingredients. Because if there was one thing that natural hair movement did, was it took people on a ingredient ride like no other. I mean, everybody swore up and down they understood these ingredients. I'm just going to read some off right quick. Okay. Like aqua, hydroxypropyl starch phosphate, quaternium 87, benzomethium chloride. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. So what we're going to do with every episode, we're just going to add random. It's just randomly, we're going to talk about the dumbest shit people have said about a particular ingredient. And then Cheryl is going to break it down like, is it true or is it false, And of course, if there's an ingredient that you want us to cover, like what you heard and you had some concerns, then let's keep the chat very interactive, because after all, our goal is to achieve 3,000 followers. So if you haven't subscribed to America's favorite podcast about Afro hair, now is the time, because we have a wonderful catalog of conversations and discussions with various people from around the world. We can proudly say that about Afro hair. And it is all with the intent to liberate you and free your time, your mind, and of course, your money, because I'm a Scorpio and I'm cheap as hell and I hate spending a lot of money. I own a hair salon and I just don't like people spending a lot of money on hair for a lot of reasons. So rock it out with us. And then Cheryl Morrow as the editor-in-chief of the SD Monitor News. You're dropping some of those links of of your news articles in the chat, by the way.
We have had some greatest hits.
So I'm sure we're gonna get her to drop that. Maybe we can get like a QR or maybe just a link or something so everybody can read the art, because those articles be deep. They're on LinkedIn. If you're on LinkedIn, then you automatically you'll see the articles. The artwork is always like thebomb.com. And also you can learn where Cheryl is speaking and being interviewed on other podcasts, not just this one. So she is sought after and well respected and all that. You know what they say. We don't look like it, but we is. So that, and then she's also a cosmetic trichologist, and she's the heiress to the California curl empire. And so we're always from Cheryl's instructions. She says we need to operate from that, but we need to have more conversations about operating from our good space, because in America, certain folk will have you thinking you ain't nothing but a hound dog. But we're not hound dogs. We're just people trying to make it happen. What's up, Sir Poe? Hope you're enjoying that Rev Air. Okay. Again, our topic tonight is about the natural hair movement. Did it ignore history? And so there are three stances that we're going to talk about this conversation. So the narratives that comes out of the natural hair movement, where Cheryl and I, now this, remember, we have a whole year of this shit, okay? So we can't get it all today, but we're just going to get it all down. By the time this year is over, you guys are going to be like this hair needs an enema, okay? So your mind will be all cleared out and there will be no poop in there, okay? So the narratives that we hear coming out of the natural hair movement, number one, is its relations to antiquity. So I have more images than I have clips because I thought it would be more poignant so people can break it down as I'll be the instigator. Ain't that right, Miss Poe? You know I'm a hairstylist, so I like to instigate. Also, that slave narrative, we hear so much happened during slavery, and we got to talk about that. And then we got to move on to freedom, because my hair is straightened.
Yes.
This is appropriation. We got to go there. I don't know. Did we miss this, or is it really appropriation? So we have to go there, because that natural hair movement was staunch on that. Now we know it was also anti-chemical, but that is another podcast. But today we're just trying to building up to it. And then of course we're going over into where we're at today, and again we're going to use images, and this is very interactive. So if there's something that you've heard and you want to know in this context, then of course get live with us, and don't forget to share. So if you know another hairstylist, maybe you have some customers, a cousin who's like, I know Nefertiti was using the lowest method, what was that called? The LOC method. And I know for a fact that Imhotep is the originator of the lowest scale system. So, we got to get this stuff out of our system so that we can clear it up.
We can get onto innovation based on Afro science, and we can get it all.
A lot of people don't believe in Afro hair science. A lot of people don't believe in us, period.
What you talking about, Willis?
Yeah, we don't care because we believe in y'all. Y'all ain't got to believe in us because we believe in you. I know. But before we get into...
No, seriously. What are you talking about when you mean they don't believe in Afro hair science?
A lot of people are like, which ain't no such thing as Afro hair science. How many people have heard of Afro hair science? Let's get it going. Because Cheryl said, what you talking about? Well, let's everybody, what's going on? The king of locks, Oxafro geek. I don't know what that means, but it sounds sexy. What's up, Jamie Jones, Miss CJ Star, everybody on Instagram? Have you heard of Afro hair science? Happy New Year, Kefele. And we're gonna have you back on. You already know, Kefele. We just
love you.
We be stalking you anyhow. So have you heard of Afro hair science? So let's see if we can get some people to say. Now we're not talking about, because we just taught y'all, but before Cheryl and I kicked the ballistics, on the Afro Hair Science YouTube channel. Have you guys, are you familiar with it? And if so, maybe you could share with us the source, like where did you learn it from? Who told you about it, or where did you first hear about it, even if you don't know about it? Okay, so so take a moment out. So we got some no. So Michelle Allen says no, she has not. Now I'm going to be honest. I hadn't heard of it until I met Cheryl. So I'm just telling the truth according to proof. Okay. So I ain't gonna perpetrate. I had never heard of it. So Michelle, don't feel bad. All right. And so Cheryl, as we wait for some responses, why do you find that hard to believe? Because you said, what you talking about, Willis? So I take it. Maybe you thought
because black people in this country started natural.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, I realize that it's not commercial. I'm not saying that. I'm not shocked about that, but
I like my Afro cup.
I do. It's got a little glare on it. I turn around.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm going the wrong way. Okay. There we go.
Going the wrong way. Okay.
Afro soul, baby. You got soul. You got soul. Hey.
It was a really heavy movement. And I do realize that cosmetology did not embrace it. The barbershop did, but I get it. But to not believe it is really wild to me.
Well, I think what you said has a lot of weight given the context. A lot of people haven't heard of it. And now I'm just gonna say I'm with you, Miss Sir Pooh. I didn't know anything about it until I had met Cheryl. But now I'm just going to tell my story. We kind of talked about this in the beginning of the podcast, that when I first met Cheryl, one of my problems that I had with believing what Cheryl was saying, I'm gonna go ahead on and say it. All right, I gotta say it, Kay or Nisa. I'm gonna go ahead on and say it, Michelle, Cafele, everybody on Instagram. I'm gonna tell you guys, Miss CJ Star, Jamie Jones, Oxford Greek. I'm gonna tell you guys the number one reason why I did not believe anything that Cheryl was saying to me about Afro Hair Science. Okay, y'all ready? Drum roll. Because she wasn't white. I'm sorry. That white pen had me. Now, I'm not talking about anybody but Ladosha. So I do not speak for the beauty industry. I am not representing consumers out here. I'm just talking about my own reality. I had a struggle with everything that Cheryl was saying because a white person had not taught me it first or interwoven in my academia, if you know what I'm saying, and so I will admit, I was one of those Black people who pretty much felt that if a white person said it was so, like it made it valid, because they run the show on education, I guess, Now that's not to say I've been taught by some Black scholars, you know what I'm saying, that taught me information that white people didn't teach me. But that was in college. So, when you're in college, you believe the Black scholars, but as a hairstylist, I was like, you ain't no PhD. What you talking about, Willis, And so that was my naivete, my ignorance. And then, of course, it was also my comfort level. I was very comfortable with white people giving me my education when it came to hair, and Black people was kind of like on the periphery. They would just skirt on 22s. Rubes, Hondas. So that was my ignorance, and what's another word? Maybe isolated, into my own little world that I had been around, white people, because I as a cosmetologist, I didn't go to an African American school. I went to a white school, And I didn't know any hairstylists, so, and nobody was trying to be my friend. And so, I mean, unless we were talking about hairstyles, so Black people, we could talk about hairstyles, but at least the Black hairstylist that I met, which wasn't a lot. So that's why I said I'm giving you guys my little small, experience, and to why I just was reluctant to hear what Cheryl has to say. And if you can relate to that, go ahead and put the hashtag me too. Maybe I'm not alone. Maybe I know it's hard to put it out there.
Yeah.
It's hard to say that because, what's that say? To thy own self be true. And so, what's up, Miss Scott Holcomb? So glad to see you. Or is it Mr. Scott? Oh, you know what? I've been calling you Mrs. Why you ain't say nothing? I just you let me call you Mrs. You know what?
Because he's probably been called worse.
Mr. Scott, just throw a straight in the comment at my head. Go ahead. I ain't gonna even be upset. I've been going Mrs. Scott. And I have readers on. Pray for me, mister. Pray for me, Scott. Just pray for me. So Sir Pooh said it was the first for him. So let's kick it off with that. That was my reluctance. And so today, hopefully, if you're afraid to say it, or maybe you can relate, even if it wasn't you, like Ladosha, I wasn't quite that ignorant. I just wasn't as dumb as showing. Now that's the dumbest shit that Black people say about Black hair. Ain't no white person never said nothing you saying, sure. So you can't. That's some dumb shit. Because white people have a lot of power in this industry when it comes to education. I mean, after all, they control the narrative. Am I lying? Remember this? Am I right or wrong? Am I weak or strong? I mean, it ain't like we writing no books, y'all. I'm just telling the truth again, according to proof.
No, you're not. You're not. It's just that, and I realized that, and see, one of the things that we went past that, because we didn't have to disrespect each other, and we didn't have to cross the lines and boundaries, and we got an understanding. And one of the things that I don't and have not ever worked this closely with a beauty professional like working with Ladosha. Ladosha it actually takes a bright person to unlearn more than they learn. Because a bright person allows the space to be empty. That is a real seeker of knowledge, is to be able to take something out, to unlearn something and relearn it. Very bright. And so it just, and then of course, adding on to the knowledge base that I had and just what she had to offer was just magical. And that is how the greats of women who started the National Beauty Cultures League, other women that started other things and brands like Annie Malone and Madam C.J. Walker, Sarah Spencer Washington, Madison M.S. Gold Young, all of them, you have to be welcoming and able to share knowledge systems.
Mm-hmm. Because one of the things now, I don't care whether you've been to college or high school or, in your mama's kitchen, wherever you're getting the information from, at some point when you hear something new, you still can draw on the things that you've been taught.
Absolutely.
That will make those gears just start to, go into place.
Right. You can pull from it and be like,
she can't be lying, and I can recall like one of the things that, but I was scared to say it, and I say it all the time, was this whole deep conditioner thing.
Yeah.
Now, I ain't about to perpetrate. I have no PhD, so don't y'all be coming after me like, don't you want to talk about? But I do recall being taught in college that, skin and hair, were hydrophobic. Like, if it just repelled it. That's why we're not drying, we get into water. And so when these companies came in, talking about this deep conditioner, I was like, Hey, Sir Pooh, you know how them companies come in about put them under the dryer for 20 minutes and let the conditioner go deep and, put the plastic cap on. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Here I go.
What you talking about, Will?
Yeah.
And I was like, ain't nobody gonna say nothing. And so this is why we have this podcast, because nobody wants to say anything. Like, I'm not, and maybe they didn't know, but there are a lot of cosmetologists who have degrees and they have taken some science. I'm not the only cosmetologist who has been to hell. There's a lot of cosmetologists that they teach you this in high school. Maybe I don't remember, because I'm like King T. I went to high school, but I swear I flunked every class. Okay, so I don't remember anything from high school. But in college, now I remember some things, and that was one of them. And I was just looking around like, hey, ain't nobody gonna say that. So I spent my whole career like, you know what? I just took the shit off of my menu. Cause I said, I ain't doing because black women will kick your ass about their hair. And me
no, we have an awesome reputation about being.
I mean, yeah, black women be like, you had me sit underneath the dryer and my hair, it feel the same. What you asking me for? I'm like, I mean, I used to be scared of these customers out here as a hairstylist. I'm just saying, you got to be tough to be a hairstylist. And the white women, ooh, child, you don't want to work in no white salon. They're carrying your ass to death, okay? They don't play, but black women the same way. I don't know why they keep calling them Karen, because it ain't no difference. That's why I like that whole race thing. But anywho, I digress. And so
quite Karenish.
Right. And so hopefully, as we unpack this conversation, what's up, Jury James? I need some jewelry, bro. Come on, you playing around. The missus came up to the salon and said you still had some. So I know you still got it, okay? But we just need to unpack it. Yes, Miss Sandra, there it is. I know I'm not the only one. Black women, they will beat you up about that. They do not play about all women. But I'm just gonna speak for my own. I was just teasing when I said white women were carrying you.
We will, Aisha.
Okay. Yeah, and get that rubberneck, and before you know it, baby, they're gonna be mopping the floor with your butt. So let's start off with the dumbest shit that people say about propylene glycol. So what I want to do is just pretty much show a picture of propylene glycol. And so now, Cheryl, you're gonna have to correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not the ingredient expert. I'm just gonna stay in my lane. But propylene glycol is one of those ingredients that's used to kind of make the hair feel like that moistness, that spongy feel on the hair that we call a moisturizer, right? Okay, and so now remember, this is all to the touch. And so one of the things that people say about propylene glycol, number one, is that it's bad for your hair. It's a chemical, number one, that's toxic. So I should say, number one, it's a chemical that's bad for your hair because it is toxic. And so when you look at ingredients on hair care products, you do see propylene glycol on hair care products and particularly conditioners. Okay, I look at hairsprays. I don't see them in hairsprays. I don't see them in proteins, but I do see them in shampoos and I do see them in conditioners. Is it true that it is toxic?
Well, first, it's organic.
Here we go. What's up, Yate? Let the poop show begin. So, but just because it's organic, does that mean it can't be toxic? Can organic things be toxic?
Okay. Well, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
And everyone who's watching, what is the difference between toxic, caustic, and hazardous?
Toxic, caustic, and hazardous.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So if you can read.
All right. Anybody want to take a stab at it? All right. Come on, guys. What's up, Madam Flair? Come on, Yate. Sandra said, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button because we're getting pure and unadulterated here as we talk about the dumbest shit that people say about Black hair by way of the natural hair movement that ignored its history. So we're going to unpack that momentarily, but we're starting off with the dumbest shit that people say about ingredients. So
because the problem with natural hair care movement and people who do any type of natural hair, and they have these weird relationships with chemical names. They don't have a problem with water, which is weird.
Water aqua, there's aquas in here. The toilet, okay.
Yeah. But they do have a very weird relationship, bizarre relationship with chemical names. And so, but my issue with them all the time is that I think that they were talking about hazardous, not toxic. And so they used a very inappropriate word named toxic. So if you guys can, please.
Okay. Anybody wants to share?
Toxic is what versus caustic?
Toxic, caustic, and hazardous. Well, I do know something that's caustic will burn. Okay. So I'm going to say for sure caustic, like you can inhale something and it could burn your nose or it can get on your skin. So I know that caustic burns.
But it has to have vapors in order for it to do that.
Can you feel me? Okay. Nothing can save you. This is the season for catching it. They didn't catch that one.
So it has to be gaseous. So one of the things about formaldehyde is that when you heat it, it creates a gas.
All right. So, okay. So we got one. Okay. All right. Okay. Here we go. Kimberly Vera says, I hate that cheap filler propylene glycol. They coming on out after us. Come on. Sandra says, toxic. Okay, we got toxic will kill you. Caustic is corrosive. You better go with that vocabulary. Mm-hmm. Hazardous has the potential of harm. Okay. I said burn, but I'm from the project, so I said.
Right. And so Sandra it's mostly right, but caustic is caustic and corrosive is corrosive.
Okay, and then we have our new. What's up, Kimberly Vera? Welcome to our platform. We got to give our cousin Miss Kimberly a hand clap. Every time we get somebody new to come in, we got to give them a super duper hand clap. Look to them. Okay, but she says she don't like propylene glycol because it's cheap. It's a cheap filler.
Right. Okay? Well, let me ask you a question. And so, Miss Kimberly, what is the most expensive one?
Okay. All right. I don't know nothing about that. Now, y'all getting out of my league. Now, I keep telling y'all.
Yeah.
Right. I got you. We're just
right. Wait. What is more expensive than? What would be your preference?
Okay. What's the alternative to propylene glycol? Because Kimberly says. I'm sorry, expensive. Because Kimberly says it's cheap. All right. What's up, Tristan Natural? What's going on? And then back to the question at hand. Toxic will kill you. Caustic is corrosive. Hazardous has the potential of harm. All right. Okay. So I think everybody else is kind of like I'm not quite sure. And we'll wait for Kimberly to give us an alternative to the cheapness of propylene glycol and what is the expensive alternative version, the expensive version. Okay. So Cheryl,
and I'm asking that question to make a point.
Okay. So while we're waiting for her to make a point, how about you answer the question?
Right.
What is toxic, caustic, and hazardous? She says she doesn't know what an expensive one is. Okay, that's it. Okay, be honest. That's what we're here for. Okay.
So it's kind of like weird to not like it because it's cheap if we don't know if there's an expensive one.
Mm-hmm. Are we gonna help them out? Okay, so let's start off with toxic, caustic, and hazardous.
Right. Propylene glycol cannot kill you. So it's not toxic.
Oh, toxic will kill you. Okay, go on, Sandra, with your bad self.
Right. I mean,
I didn't know what toxic meant. I thought, toxic meant like,
okay, toxic can get inside of your body and create problems and create anaphylaxis.
Oh yeah, like what's that stuff?
Things of that nature.
Like chemo, like those radiation.
Yeah, it's toxic. There's something toxic, right? Okay.
I'm glad y'all teaching me because I've been killed myself. What they say, FAFO or something.
Okay.
Those are
bad. Right. And of course, obviously, it does not cause harm to the skin. It is not an out of control pH, so it's not caustic or corrosive.
So caustic does mean corrosive, correct?
Caustic is a sort of a difference, but yeah, caustic and corrosive, they do carry they're thermogenic. Okay.
Right. All right. And then hazardous would be?
Hazardous is just a warning that it has the potential to cause harm, and depending on the percentages used.
All right, go on, Sandra. You with your bad self. Give you a hand clap with your bad self, okay? Because I'm telling you right now, I not know what none of that means, okay? So, Sandra, you got 3 out of 3. So, with that being said, propylene glycol
is
none of these.
Could possibly be hazardous.
Oh, it has the potential to harm. Okay.
Just like anything. Right.
You said just like who?
Anything else.
Oh. Okay, so all this stuff. So whether it's polytitanium.
Somebody can give me a legitimate reason why propylene glycol is toxic, then maybe we can discuss it. But Natural Hair Care has made sure that they demonize every other subsequent ingredient so they can sell you one and sell you the food versions of things because they don't have the knowledge to formulate. They were going to do what we call natural hair care has been a mixology. It is just a mixture of things. Mielle is just a mixture of things. There's no innovation in the brand. There's no innovation in any Y2K product brand. They're mixology brands. Okay.
So they're just in the kitchen. Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Someone's in the kitchen, I know. What's that about Dinah?
Right. And they just completely did Google searches on, ingredients, went on ironically chemical probably websites, and they just did some mixing and matching, and they looked up the glossary and then they mixed it up.
Okay.
But ingredients like propylene glycol most of this is organic, means it comes from plants.
So propylene glycol
comes from right.
All right. Now let what they say, don't cook it up. Hold on, because I know some of y'all like, that ain't true. We have some questions in the chat. So Kimberly Vera says she's here to learn. So she's appreciative of the information. And this is what makes us America's favorite podcast about Afro hair, because we are truly here to liberate you and free you so that you can feel free to do what you need to do. Again, not waste money and time and efforts on stuff that just really won't serve you any good. Okay. So let me share with you. So thank you so much, Kimberly. We appreciate your honest, because I was just honest too. Like I believe Cheryl because she wasn't white. Okay. I'm just saying, I'm telling my own truth.
I mean, I was close to it. I mean, damn.
She was light-skinned. Anywho. All right. So here is what now. This is AI, and Cheryl's gonna again make this user-friendly, and we're gonna get those questions answered. So at the end of the day, it's a common ingredient and hair care products that helps retain moisture, and it prevents the hair from drying out, and it's used in other products, and that the FDA says it's safe and used as an additive, and that some people may be sensitive. Hence, Cheryl says hazardous, as a lot of people can be sensitive. So, so now we know what it's used for in hair care products. Did you want to add some more to that, Cheryl?
And how a consumer is supposed to read this? this ingredient is common ingredient in hair care products that helps retain moisture and prevent drying out. Now, what do you guys think that means?
Okay. What do you think that means? It helps retain moisture and keeps hair from drying out. I'm going to say that would be something like those products that they use in natural hair products to make it have that wet, that feel to it, where the hair has that coating, because everybody wants moist hair. That's the number one. I want my, like, their hair will be straight like mine. And I'll be like, I want my hair to feel moist. No, you don't want straight hair to feel moist. But when it comes to hairstyles that are not straightened, and that's what I think it's describing there. So let me see. I'm going to stop sharing, Cheryl, just so I can see what the chat is saying. Okay, so let me see what the chat is saying. Oh, we got some stuff in here. Okay, hold on, guys. And again, we appreciate you. Okay, these are great answers. Okay, it seals, so it's a sealant on top of the hair. What's up, Lavina? Y'all, my bosses in the chat, drop them L's right quick. Okay, so she says it's a sealant. Let's see if Instagram had anything to say. Okay. Hey, Williams, what's going on, Neo BHC? Any of you guys want to drop your answer to what you think the description or the definition or explanation, rather, that it helps retain moisture and prevents from drying? So we have.
So also, when we use words like retain, so we're assuming that we don't want to lose something, so that there's moisture in the hair, right? And then when Trish the Natural says it seals it, she's insinuating that we're putting something in, and then we don't want it to come out, right?
Yeah.
Would that be safe for me to assume that?
Yes.
Okay. And because if you guys ever felt propylene glycol?
Probably not. I have the screen enlarged, Cheryl. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Probably you could probably see the answers in your chat if you have it up on your phone or something.
And my point in propylene glycol is a very thin, greasy feel, and I think that our basic information and knowledge base is that moisture is water, and that we don't want water to come out, right? And we're trying to retain water. The problem is that these two particular ingredients, water, which is moisture, and propylene glycol, they don't mix. Not if you put it in water, it's not an emulsion. It doesn't just blend all of it in water. So it cannot do exactly, unless you formulate it to do that. And that is one of the things that in natural hair care, they don't understand, that it takes a formula of subsequent parts to make the ingredient propylene glycol retain moisture. Okay. And then, of course, hair being hydrophobic by nature, there is no water hose. Hair is not a water hose. There's no water in it. And so I know they are only doing these things with your fingertips. You're only having a temporary, momentary, very short window of feeling your hair the way you want it to feel, because the reason why you need to put these fatty and other types of formulated ingredients like propylene glycol, so you will not see or feel the evaporation of the water that you put on the hair. That is more of what is actually going on.
So it's about an experience in your cleansing and conditioning process.
Right. It is always.
It could be some of the wording that companies use.
Bring a screen up.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That could be it. So Trish says she's assuming it seals moisture in from the hydration from shampooing.
Right. But shampoo, well, didn't you guys say that the shampoo dries it out?
Well, they have moisturizing shampoos.
And what would be the moisturizer in the shampoo?
Look, we all like
always
about the house again, George.
what is the moisturizing component in the shampoo, if not the water?
I would say all those natural ingredients. Like, let me read some of this stuff. Not my product doesn't have this stuff, but let's use some Philip Lucy stuff. So maybe it could be.
Or just Google.
Let me just play around here. So we got some here. Maybe it could be the green tea extract.
No.
Or the fruit extract from chamomile and the saw from sage.
No.
And then we also have horseradish and blackberry. So maybe these natural ingredients are what's making the hair moist.
How about dry? Okay, so Trish is onto something. Trish said maybe the moisturizing is happening during the shampoo, right?
Yeah, she says, I'm talking about the hydration from water used during the shampooing process.
Right. And what if when the water evaporates, because you guys like your curls when they're wet, but then all of a sudden it evaporates, and then the hair, you guys say you don't like the hair. And so these product companies, they have to keep up with you being so insatiated, right? You're so safe. You're never satisfied because the hair is wet with water drenched. You don't want that. Okay. But then as the water, it rises and goes back up, it starts to precipitate and it evaporates, right? And
right.
Like the texture after that, right? And then you guys say water that washes out your natural oils. Okay, so what is the real moisturization? The natural oils, the water in the shampoo, the propylene glycol, or what?
I'm itching to say that they're going to say it's the natural ingredients, because the natural hair community is big. I don't have any of their stuff.
Yeah.
But they're really big on, like, what's this stuff? Rosemary oil and coconut oil and all the exotic flowers. So I believe that it would be those natural ingredients that they're purporting, to bring moisture to the hair, as opposed to the propylene glycol. Like what was that Miss Kim said is cheap, and it's not natural. Yeah, Kimberly Vera was saying, because that's kind of how they're pushing it, that if you're using ingredients like propylene glycol, it, like she said, it's cheap, and they're better ingredients, such as your natural ingredients.
Right. And so the next question is, what do you guys think propylene glycol is made of?
That's a good one. Don't cook it up. Look it up. So I'm going to exit my screen, and then after we answer that question, we're going to hop into our topic. And again, we are 141 episodes in, and we are discussing right now propylene glycol, the dumbest shit that people say about propylene glycol. And then we're going to move into the natural hair movement. Hasn't ignored its Black history. So now I'm going to go ahead on. I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to look up what is propylene glycol made of? What is I can spell propylene glycol. Oh, there it is. Made up of. All right, here we go. Here's A. That A, I'll be kicking it. All right. All right. I don't know what this is saying, but let me put it on up. All right. Sure gonna have to break this down. I'm gonna tell y'all this right now. Okay. I know. Yeah. So yeah, she said before we do that, all right. Our virtual co-host says now is the time to hit the like button because Cheryl is really giving you guys what you came here for. So here we go, guys. Hit that thumbs up button. Pump me on. Pump me on. All right. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, now is the time to do it because we appreciate this channel is truly, truly growing. And we really, really, really want to thank each and every one of you for showing up and showing out. Okay. So let me share my screen right quick. And we're just going to quickly go into exactly what this is exactly made of, and then and I think you guys are going to be like, oh, okay. So here we go, Cheryl. Let me just enlarge it for you so that I can read it here. All right, guys. So here we go. Propylene glycol is primarily made of propylene oxide and water. It is produced commercially through the direct hydrolysis of propylene oxide. So I guess we need to find out right quick what is propylene oxide, correct?
No, oxide just means that you added an oxygen atom. Show more.
Okay, I have to stop sharing right quick. Hold up, guys. Let me just exit screen because I can't, it doesn't allow me to do it inside the thing. Okay, hold on. Don't worry, though. I got it. So show more. Oh, where'd it go? Sorry, guys. Hold on. All right, here we go. Show more. Y'all better get ready. It's about to go down, like Jay-Z said. Order another. Who gonna order another round? Because it's about to go down. Hold on, I'm about to show y'all. Ooh, this gonna get juicy. I love this. Y'all better hit that thumbs up button after I show y'all. Yeah, y'all gonna be like that girl is on fire. Come on, y'all, hit that thumbs up button. What does it mean? She says, show more. Key points about propylene glycol. It's typically derived from petroleum, specifically, like she said, from oxide, which is a byproduct of petroleum refining. It's a plant-based option. Recent advancements allows for propylene glycol to be produced from vegetable oils. Y'all better shut that front door. And it is
corn, soy. And we all know petroleum is organic. I don't know what to tell you guys.
Y'all better make sure y'all products got some propylene glycol in it. But like Sandra taught us now, it can be hazardous for some people. It can be sensitive. So, Miss Kimberly, it is most certainly not cheap. So that we did learn. It's actually a high quality product, and I'm sure because it's made from petroleum, that means it's readily available. So y'all know where I'm going to go, right? That means it's going to be cheaper. We don't have to pay that much, but it's a high quality product, and it does what it says it does, which is like Cheryl said, it gives that slip on the hair, and it's gonna, make hairstyling fun.
No, but and I do remember the natural hair care world referencing if something's cheap or not, as if that is to make some pointer. No, and believe me, what natural hair 25 years later, what we have believed, Afro Hair Science is what we call a knowledge system. Okay. Cosmetology and natural hair care world mainly is what we call a belief system. There's a difference.
Y'all better write that down. Come on, Trish. Sorry, y'all, my allergies just kicked in. Y'all better write this down. So repeat that out here because I got to repeat that much. If you're from Cleveland and you know about that Trans Europe Express, it's a line there, Cheryl. And we go, repeat that, mother. What's up? What's up, y'all? Repeat that, mother. So repeat that. You said cosmetology.
Yeah, natural hair care and cosmetology actually is what we call, a natural hair care community does think that they are different than cosmetology, and they're not. They are what we call a belief system. a set of things we believe. We put them in sets, combinations. We put them in education systems, curriculums, syllabus, prospectus. We put them in curriculum, you know what I mean, and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. I'm writing this down. I don't know about y'all because I'm ready for them. I'll be RFTW in 2025. Okay. All right. So cosmetology. Okay.
Right. And then the knowledge system is something that is innate and indigenous and endogenous. Okay. It belongs to a culture. It belongs to, it was something that is archetypical. And it is almost like African spirituality versus Catholicism. Catholicism belief system. African spirituality is a knowledge system.
So the Afro Hair Science
is a knowledge system. Mm-hmm.
As a knowledge system. There you go, guys. There's a difference. And so if you are one of those people who are truly, anti this or this, that, now you might want to kick it on over here with us on the Afro Hair Science. Because
and so ironic. Sorry to kick you up. I mean,
no, that's fine.
I had a thought, actually, the natural hair care movement is actually anti knowledge system. It actually is, in my opinion, because they reject so much things that are so scientific, and knowledge systems must be artistically and scientifically.
And can I just say this, y'all? Yeah. I mean, it's not like nature don't have science. And this is why I've just always been so confused. Right. How could something natural be anti-science or anti-chemical? That's just something that
it's bizarre. It's been bizarre.
It's very, very, very bizarre. And I'm like, y'all don't think that there's any science, no atoms, no molecular, no sharing, borrowing, or none of that splitting and opening and concocting and Anywho, okay. So,
and it's ironic that you would be, that gorgeous sign that's in the in your library in Gambia,
mm-hmm.
and to have George Washington Carver there, in and of itself gives the credence of us. We are naturally scientific knowledge system thinkers.
And I'm going to show you guys what Cheryl is talking about. So remember, Fatu was ever so kind to name a classroom, not the school, the classroom, her classroom of cosmetology after me. And so this is when you walk into the classroom of the Ladosha, right? Cosmetology, you will see our wall of honor, and we'll from left or your right to left, depending on which way you're looking at the orientation here. Fatu has African garb, right? And then right there's George Washington Carver. Then there's Key Lolo. There's Annie Turbo Malone. There's Dr. Morrow, and then there's the woman who I'm so trying to be like, Olive Benson, which is why I'm here. And she's done a lot of wonderful things as well. And then so kick back to George Washington Carver and his love of plants and chemistry and science. And then we're going to get into this topic.
Yeah. And there's the only 6 degrees of separation between George Washington Carver and Mr. Morrow. Mr. Morrow learned under a protege. There was only one protege. Dr. Carver only worked with one man, and his name was Dr. Austin Curtis. And if you catch any of the old films on YouTube with Carver in his laboratory working, you're going to see a little light-skinned man standing next to him all the time. And that was Dr. Austin Curtis. And Dr. Austin Curtis used to come to the Bronner Brothers show. And he was obviously an older gentleman. And Mr. Morrow and him spent lots of hours together. But the art of being able to cut molecules, especially oil molecules, was a special art form that Carver taught. And that was passed down to Dr. Austin Curtis and passed on to Mr. Morrow. And to understand how you cut oil molecules is something that I treasure today, and just being able to understand. But for the lazy intellectual generation that I call natural hair care, not to say that these people are not smart and bright. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that once again, this generation has not been able to understand the Afrocentric perspective on, and and naturally becoming anti.
Right, and that's why we asked the question.
Is to be actually anti-Afrocentric, in my opinion.
Can you repeat that, because I cut you off? I'm so sorry.
No problem. And to become anti-chemical, in my opinion, is to become, or to be of the mind of anti-Afrocentric, because you can't have science, spirituality. You can't split them. Not in a knowledge system.
Right.
Knowledge don't split debate. You know,
and that's why we have the question, the natural hair movement that ignored its history. So here are these people who are very pro natural ingredients, shea butter, all these elderberries, and I mean the list goes on, flowers and eucalyptus, you name it, but they don't like science. And here you have George Washington Carver, who did exactly what Cheryl is talking about, and her father was blessed, to be able to be, under the tutelage of one of his proteges. And so Trish does have one. She wants clarification here. All right. So are you all saying there are lots of folks mixing up fruits and veggies? Okay. So are we saying that there are a lot of folks mixing up fruit and veggies DIYs for their hair? And the answer is yes. You're just not going to get the sophistication that's needed in modern day times. I mean, we ain't exactly, we ain't in the bush no more, y'all. So come on now. It's just,
well, you're just not doing it. Right. You're just not doing it because you're doing it. You're doing it because you have taken hair care from industrial and botany and cosmetics down to food. So when you lowered it to food, now the ingredients everyone has access to, and you lowered the requirements and the recipes, and you lowered it from formulation to recipe. And now that you have recipe, you guys are now sharing and mixing all of the same available ingredients in your food stores.
And now we're seeing this.
Everybody can do it. And now that is why
it's lost its chutzpah. So now you have people saying, "Oh, the natural hair movement failed us; it didn't work." I mean, it's so many ways you're gonna spin that sweet potato pie. You know what I'm saying?
And did she answer another question? Is that
no? That was it. She says, "And who are these folks? These are everybody in that natural hair. If you are selling these products in the name of natural hair, you are those folks." And then
Whole Foods, Target, Ulta, they're living on this herbal, organic type of, but it's not organic formulation, innovation in the botany and chemical world. It's organic food. These are cosmetic science and food science. They're not even the same.
Right. You're on, if you're mixing stuff at home and you're putting it on your hair, you're definitely on the low end of that. And as a cosmetologist, I can tell you the requests that we see in hairstyles and hair coloring, you need chemistry, guys. And then the income earning potential is far greater. And the wealth gets spread out, with those natural hair you have the natural hair movement, you have a couple of millionaires that came out of it. Whereas with Dr. Morrow, he produced, a myriad of
that era. Yeah, that era, you're having legacy brands, 50s,
67.
Right, right.
I don't think Carol's daughter hit 20 years before she was done. So let's get into it. And this is a perfect segue because we're an hour into it, so we won't keep you guys too much longer. So we have I'm sorry, let me put my little notes set before I start running up my jibs here. Right. So we have 4 narratives we're going to shoot right through. And this is a perfect segue into it because now we can see how why we're focusing on this natural hair movement and what has it taught us. And so far what it is revealing to us is that it is they're saying that they're doing it in the name of naturalness by way of holding on or being connected to our roots from Africa. But we're hoping so far what you're learning, even by my own admission, this is just me, I felt that if the information did not come from white people, it wasn't so because they control the narrative in the world of beauty. Let's just keep it 100. We do teach stuff, don't get it wrong, but the stuff we teach is under the pen of white people. That's just, and so now we see this in this natural hair movement that are just trying to, my grandmother taught me this mixture, God came to me and gave me this formulation and all this, that, and the third. And we're like, that's down here. We're going to use George Washington Carver as our metrics to raise the bar, him and Austin Curtis. All right. We can raise the bar on those natural plants and flowers or whatever. And so now when we ask what has it taught us in antiquity, some of the things that we hear for sure is going to start off in the hairstyles. So one of the biggest claims that comes out of the natural hair movement when we hear some of the dumbest shit that they say is that it's this whole thing about these hairstyles, in antiquity. And we see, I was going to upload, and I'll share it with you guys. Someone did some research on this, and lots of scholars have done research on the natural hair movement, and we all have heard the narrative of how much hair culturally and spiritually meant to Africans. But today, we see things like this, that we just made a joke about, what we not gonna do is stuff like this. Yeah. So help me out, Cheryl. We got some of this with this.
Okay.
So on one token, we have a history that hair was status, it was symbolic, all this other good stuff, right? But then today it's natural and unbothered, and for certain we can do this. So where is this mix, this I don't know, is it a disconnect or is it an exaggeration? Number one, I don't think there's any proof that, in antiquity that they were even calling these black or natural hairstyles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think they was just hairstyles. But we kind of hear a slant on that, especially when you go into this my queen and my king stuff,
I don't think that I do think that we see hair and hair fashioning. We don't see it tribally. We want to see it as African, right? And the styles that you are looking at are tribal, which means that in the proximity of these same people, they would be wearing something else. But at the end of the day, we don't want to see it as expression of a tribal culture. We want to see it politically and use it and weaponize it to make another point to another Black person. Right? And so because you are looking at in the center here, that's a wig. Okay. And so there was a culture, okay, and we're not talking about Nubians. We could be talking about the Watusians. We could be talking about anyone in the Nile Valley area. But we have to respect that we are such a diverse people that usually the hairstyles and fashion and the level of expression and the point we're trying to make with our expression is mostly tribal.
Yeah.
It's not national. It doesn't become a wave. The
like braids. Like everybody in Africa did not do braids. That's the other thing. Like we keep like, well, you know, they shaved a lot of it off, given, especially in antiquity.
So many tribal different braiding techniques. They're not all doing the same thing. They're not taking 3 strands and then just braiding it up like we do this shit now. Okay.
I'm gonna tell you, that was like when I tell you that blew my mind, the level of braiding. And we are in the Western world. We act like these cornrow braids is the best thing since, Nefertiti bust. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to representing Mama Africa. And they, of course, we know why this is so. But what we are saying is that when we talk about that it ignores history, given what we can do on these platforms with this information and reach out to actual people, we don't really have to Google this, guys. We can get on the plane, stop by all those products. We could actually go visit any part of Africa and just see the vastness of diversity. It's impossible to do something like 4C. That is probably the most, it's the highest form of the opposite when you're talking about classifying hair and hairstyles and groups of people. It just didn't take place. And so when we talk about the natural hair movement ignoring its history, we just see a slant being put on it to sensationalize it. You don't have to, because like Cheryl said, it is so vast.
No,
and so diverse. We don't really have to make this stuff up, guys. You're
being modest. Okay.
Am I?
They're not sensationalizing it. I want you guys to be very clear. The natural hair care movement within the last 25 years have not been very forgiving. It is not forgiving at all. It's been very weaponizing. And it has become even to the point where it has split us even tribally here in the United States.
And here is, go ahead.
And the natural world has taken a superiority position and has made so many, into my experience, so many missteps, misquotes, unfacts. And I have to say, the natural hair movement has their own disinformation reputation. And so, but in the whole scheme of things, Kilolo, I do understand and I do get this whole new wave of naturalness. Just doesn't have any personality or DNA of their predecessor that allowed them to have a natural next step or trajectory into power consumerism, power control. And it has probably, like, to me, the greatest transfer of cultural information, cultural assets, which was their hair care dollar, their spending choices. And I think that they are in quite a conundrum at this point. And so that's why we're doing the podcast, so we can all figure this stuff out.
Yeah, right. And she says, girl, WTF, do you have an Egyptian bust up there while talking about black hair? DNA evidence prove they have always been Arabs. The Nubians were the black Egyptians. The irony. I don't know about that. I ain't no DNA.
And see, once again, here we go again. It's the weaponizing even of the information. And so when you begin to grapple with territories and then invasions, and then you corral something geographically, and then one people come in, and then you call those people Arabs. Arabs are not indigenous to Africa. They are invaders. And so, and like, what's the point? You know, we already know that because Africa is probably it is the largest landmass on Earth. It covers, I mean, there's glaciers in the continent, right? And so we know that there's so many various
ethnicities
and magnetic tropic climates and environments there. And so the skin tones and the hair and the phenotypic traits and features and characteristics of how we look. And this is the most diverse place on Earth because the world comes from there. It's the cradle of civilization. We get it. But here we go again. We want to get political with Arabs versus Nubians and Black Egyptians. And all of that.
Yeah, I feel you, girl, but that's a little bit. That's a little bit. I don't know. I'm gonna stay in my.
I mean, we know what it is.
Yes, there are Black folks from the sub-Saharan Africa. It's a whole continent. The Nubians moved north as conquerors. The Nubians were great and important. Why elevate the Egypt? I'm not elevating anybody.
But it doesn't matter in the scheme of things. Because it doesn't matter anthropologically. Because once you get down to anthropology, and I'm talking about an Afrocentric from Dr. Chang Diop and others, and Theophilo Banga, doesn't matter. These are the bullshit arguments that get in the way of us being able to
liberate. Yeah, we're trying to free, saying that what we're saying here, maybe you're coming in at the end, so let's just bring everybody up to snuff.
Yeah, whatever what we're doing. They ain't got shit mixed up. The typical.
No, but I'm just saying this for the context of what we're talking about. Yeah. What we're doing is saying, we're not saying what you're saying because your slant on it. It's a little opposite. Let's just say that it's just very abrasive, and we don't need to do that. And that's what we're saying. The history in itself is so diverse that we can't say things like cornrow braids or all of this is just from, wiping the map, like that. Well, because there were so many different braiding forms, different terminology. So we don't really have to make things up as we go along. Let's just learn the history, but not from YouTube, not from the Afro Hair Science YouTube channel. No. Take y'all go to school.
Go to YouTube. And if you're gonna go to YouTube, go to Dr. Soyata Akieta.
Yeah,
and learn from him.
Yeah. Right, we get that the whole so elevating literally every culture over actual Black culture is self-hate. No, we're not elevating culture. What we're doing is that we're telling people to do exactly what you're saying. Go and learn the history versus making things up. And we're just showing how people will just take this blanket statement and like cornrow braids or natural hairstyles and just think that all of this just comes out of this, like Africa is a city. It's too big to do that. So if you're an anthropologist, then help us change the narrative.
University, like that.
Yeah, you have that. Yeah. So if you took you took anthropology in college, then help in a user-friendly way that's empowering, that will make people want to go to the university and get the information versus looking at YouTube or looking at social media and just making stuff up about these hairstyles in antiquity and hair care products that really, it just won't jive with like Cheryl says, the knowledge is what we're kicking. Let's move on to the next one here. It's also, let's go into the now we're over to freedom. All right, we got through some slavery and all that other good stuff. So here's a narrative that we're moving on through time, guys. Here's a narrative that gets a lot of hype. So now that we moved on, that the hairstyles are too vast and the science is real. Okay, we see here two African-American women who did wonderful things in the world of hair here in the United States. But the narratives that we hear about Annie Turbo Malone and Madam C.J. Walker, we're just now starting to hear about Annie Turbo Malone, probably in the past decade. But prior to that, Madam C.J. Walker reigned supreme as the first African-American female millionaire who did all these wonderful things with hair. So again, let's talk about just that. Go to school. Just go. Why is going to school really the place to learn and get the
I don't no longer trust school. I mean, because like it's the last comments. I mean, we think that we get hitting ass with a book. I mean, and it's like its own and cracking. My goal. Can you guys look up the Walker Theater? The Walker, Madam C.J. Walker Theater. Just and what year was it built?
Madam C.J. Walker Theater. Well, that's a lot. Let's see if I can find one.
Just Wikipedia. If there is one.
It didn't pop up under Wikipedia.
Oh no.
No, it's here it is down here. Okay, it's called Madam C.J. Walker Legacy Center, but it doesn't. Okay, it says built in 1927. Okay, let's use this. I got some Wikipedia here. Okay, here we go. All right, I got you. Okay, let me take that one down. All right, so here are some of the things that we see. Is this mix these narratives about who did what did who, and why can't we just again, both women have rich history in their own right. Lord knows I ain't did none of what they did. But anywho, here we go. We're talking about getting the history. Let's get why history is important. And so you wanted us to find the building which was built in 1927. So take it away, Cheryl.
Okay. And one of the reasons why that's important, Madam C.J. Walker never saw this building. She had nothing to do with it.
You know what? Okay, I'm reloaded.
Has nothing to do with her. Maybe. I don't know if there's any connection, even with Alelia. And where is this building? In Indianapolis?
Yeah, it's in Indiana. It's in the city of Indianapolis in the state of Indiana. No, this is her legacy. This is not the theater. This is her building. I'm sorry.
Well, the building that's the Madam C.J. Walker Manufacturing Company.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. You're right. Okay.
And that is the building that they juxtapose onto when they want to show the success of and prowess of both women. But Madam C.J. Walker, or as they call Sarah Breedlove, did not see this building.
Wow. Let me put that picture back up so you guys can just kind of see what we're talking about here. And that is true because people use these images in books, and hence Cheryl was saying she doesn't always quite trust academia. It's kind of like Kara's one. You got to go to the source, all right? So the source is here as well. So here you see the Madam Walker Theater, and then there's Madam Walker, and then up top, there's Annie Malone with her school. And was Annie Malone alive when her school was?
I don't know. You have to remember, once again, Madam Walker, aka Sarah Breedlove, died in the early part of the 20th century. She only lived 19 years out of the 20th century. These buildings and things that are attached to her are more akin to her business partner, which was a black male, and maybe Alelia. But Alelia, as far as I'm concerned, I don't know of any other time she's ever lived outside of New York.
Right.
And so this building probably was for, impressionistic reason. And Madam C.J. Walker's story is written impressionistically, not historically.
So there you have it.
And so
So when we ask the question that the natural hair movement ignores history, because we're not digging, we're not making the connection. There's that intellectual laziness. If we do the math on when she passed away, then it kind of makes sense. Like, what y'all really trying to say about Madam C? Why are you guys really doing this? Okay, and with the slant coming by way of journalism, doing articles. Now we are not saying that schools are teaching this, but we're just saying how it is, portrayed and in the media, magazines and or social media, things of that nature. All right. So now again, we can see not only is it ignoring its history, it's not checking the history. Go ahead, Cheryl.
Yeah, the top is what we call Morrow College. The Walker Theater is just probably a building that I don't know what was made there. I don't know what that, and it was a movie theater I do remember, but it has nothing to do with the Madam C.J. Walker era.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, there you have it. All right, so you gotta, get your, check your facts, and if you're really going to be about this life, I like to call this responsible leadership. Just because that's what's out there, and I'm one of those people. What they call, I don't know why they call me a rebel rouser. Just call me a truth seeker. I'm just seeking the truth, guys. But they be like, don't you be causing all kind of trouble, okay? All right. So now we're going to just progress here a little bit. Oh, I wanted to have the picture. So let me look up. We're moving along. So now we're moving into the natural, right? So everybody loves the famous picture when Malcolm X, right, had his hair conked. So let me just kind of put that up. And I think this is where this natural hair thing where your anti-chemical. Now I ain't said don't come after me in the chat. I'm not saying Malcolm X said this. Okay, I'm just trying to let's get it started. All right, so here is Malcolm X, right? And we hear the narrative that one of the things that Malcolm X, before he became Malcolm X, I can't remember his full name. It was El Haj Malik, right?
Malik El Haj
Malik El Haj Shabazz. Okay, all right, okay. So we see this is when he what was his name before he was Malcolm X?
Oh my God.
I forgot. Okay. Okay. What was Malcolm X's real name? Help us out. Don't cook it up. I can't keep clicking this thing down. I know they was calling him Detroit. Let's get Malcolm. What was Malcolm X? Come on, y'all, help us out, chat. What was Malcolm X's name before he was Malcolm X real name? Okay. His real name was Malcolm Little. Okay. Yeah. So his real name was Malcolm Little. I would have never gotten that right. Okay. And so we see this here, right? But then there's this transformation. And I think
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. And so here's the transformation from the conch over, and there's Denzel Washington in character. And now here he is. He's shaved off his head. He's purified. And he, and we hear that in the natural hair movement. I got them chemicals out my hair so that I can. So where is the mix up? Or is there a mix up? Does chemicals make you, and like with my hair being straight, am I not as black as Malcolm? Do I got some Malcolm X glasses? Hold on, let me put some, I think I got some bootleg Malcolm X glasses on, okay. So I have my Malcolm X bootleg glasses. Let me pull my hair back and it's shaved, So I done got rid of all my Come on, y'all. Don't be laughing at me. All right. I'm just trying to get black. So here I am. All natural. No color. No. Let me cover it all up. So am I more black like this? Because that was the thing, he shaved his head and then he became Malcolm X. So now I'm Ladosha X. But here I am. I think I'm white. Where's the natural hair movement? How are we confused?
The wonderful thing is that, and this is when I get into the real lecture of stereotyping and talking about Afrophobia, right? And in internal Afrophobia, you have one level up, right? Because of course, we know that Black men relaxed their hair maybe 25, 30, 40 years before Black women did. And they did it alone.
I didn't know that until I learned Afro Hair Science.
Okay. And they did it for quite some time. Okay. They did it in entertainment. And you see that with Nat King Cole, all the jazz, all the baseball players, Satchel Paige did it. All of them did it. But not one Black man shamed another Black man for straightening their hair. Women.
So let me just pause right there. Now, here is where the natural hair movement ignored. Now, what's her homegirl in the chat? She would eat my ass up. What's her name? That's Real Rough and Bud. That's Real Rough Bud.
Yeah,
so Real Rough Bud was tearing me up about. I'm not elevating no Egyptians. I'm just saying this is the mix up we're trying to clean up. The dumbest shit that people say about Black hair is that if you have chemicals in your hair, you are less Black, according to the women.
And
but like Cheryl said, but when the men, he was cocking his hair as Malcolm Little, nobody said he wasn't no Black man. Nobody said Richard. Look at that Nat King. I used to think Nat King Cole was the epitome. When I was a little girl, he would have that little cigarette, I was like, I wish my daddy was like Nat King Cole, but he was the man. But women,
they were not emasculated, which means that, and they didn't have to trade their Blackness either. So they did not have to trade their Blackness. And they did not have to trade their masculinity.
But they were saying that. Now, remember her. Let me just interject. Let's just get a little saucy here, okay? Now, remember when Madam C.J. Walker was alive, and that's when what's homeboy's name? Marcus Garvey, right? And so remember that smear campaign was that she invented the straightening comb. Because they were saying even back then that if you straighten your hair, you were not Black. So this been brewing within the culture for we've been carrying in this shit for a long time.
Except if you were a man.
Right. So
straight hair in the Black community is a Black man thing. Was not a Black woman thing, because Black women only did it from the plantation from a hot comb. These brothers was chemically conking. Okay. And as I learned it from Mr. Morrow, who was a conk king at that time and wanting when he was 12 and 13 years old. And that time was very prevalent for jazz musicians and baseball players and entertainers and things of that nature, right? It was the thing to do. So here we go again. That's what we're talking about. The power of tribal styling, tribal trends. Not everyone did it, and the other man did not tell the other man what to do and not to do, and you weren't this, and you not this, and you not real Black. Only when it's a phenomenon when women do it.
Why women? Come on, y'all, wake up and answer this question. Why would you tell me I am not as Black as Malcolm X, even though I got my bootleg Malcolm X?
And I will go one step further. And it's not just the fact that you ask the question to women, you ask the question to men too. because men also begin to weaponize your choice of freedom of expression in your hair, and they will weaponize the straightness and say you're not natural, just like they do it now today. BBLs, eyelashes, why ain't you natural? Why you wearing all of this makeup and all this stuff? They do the same thing, and it's a remarkable historical cultural thing that has occurred in natural hair, because now all of a sudden, as a natural hair beauty, natural woman, okay, and don't let Alicia Keys fool y'all asses. She had on makeup even with the unmakeup. Okay, she didn't come out her bedroom and show y'all.
Cause y'all know I got some makeup on now. I don't look like this when I wake up in the morning. I tell y'all, this ain't how I look. I put some makeup on. It's called go out the house and look decent. You know. So chat. We would like to hear from you. Have you ever, just be honest, have you ever shamed someone, or do you feel that a person who straightens and alters their hair is not as black as those who don't? So let's see what the chat is saying. Madam Flex said that is not true. Okay.
So huh?
She said that's not true. If you straighten your hair, that does not make you less black. I think that's what you said. Okay.
Oh.
So let's see what you guys are saying. Also hit that thumbs up button. This chat is on fire. We see y'all. Come on, now y'all got. I mean, y'all watching us, so just come on.
What are you saying?
Don't be scared. Don't be shy. I mean, why is it now? This is when I said we be. You know, we be carning too. Okay, because I love to tell the story while we're waiting. Thank you, Madam. She says, Madam Flesh, she said it only separates us. Tis is true, girl. Go ahead. See, she ain't scared. This is it's hard to say. I say you, Michelle Allen, like, oh, come on, baby, I ain't scared either. It's hard. I mean, we can't even go ahead on and kick the ballista. It's just us. We might have a few outsiders, you know, watching us like, well, look at these little Negroes, what they doing up here on the Afro Hair. You know, I just want to get into the culture of African Americans. Go over to the Afro Hair Science YouTube channel, and they blackity black over there, okay?
They would never tell a pimp. They would never tell anybody. They would never tell James Brown that you
talking about Soul Brother number 9.
Let me tell you, men have worn straight hair and they don't say shit. They don't say anything. They don't say shit to Al Sharpton.
Wait a minute, hold on. They ain't say nothing to Snoop. And what's the rapper name? Young Dro, Young Jock, whatever. I don't
know any of them, them new cats.
He straightened his hair out. Oh, DJ Quick, they had spiral curls, baby.
They ain't said shit to Prince.
Morris Day, come on, y'all, John.
Say nothing.
Hey, come on, hit it.
But they wanted
we actually thought Morris Day was sexy with that dang on perm up at the top. And I don't know if he still perms his hair, but you are correct. It's not like this phenomenon stopped. There
started it all.
Duran Bernard, y'all know Duran Bernard. Let me tell you something. I'm so in love with Duran Bernard. It don't make. Is it? What's his name? Am I saying it wrong?
Yeah, you Duran.
Okay. I bet you won't tell him, but he slapped him with. He doing everything to that hair. But that's a good point. So let's see what the chat is saying. I want to just kind of leave this up, just to kind of. Madam Flesh said it only separates us. Tristan Natural says, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I have never said that to anyone, to each his own. Oh, come on now. Imagine someone saying, I know. Imagine saying something like that to James Brown. He would get on your good foot. So why? So let's go. So now we have it. I'm sorry. So now we have a consensus that people do not, at least in the chat, those who admit it, they do not believe Ladosha is less black than Malcolm with her hair straightened out and that blonde, that orange, and she got up there, you know, with her white hair. Okay. So why do we believe that if we do this, you are not African/black?
Because they weaponize things against women.
Who are they?
Everybody, black women, black men, they weaponize it to control what Black women wear and how
so
they
it's us. You mean ain't no white person gonna tell me?
Ain't no white person gonna tell you.
Nah, Cheryl. Nah, come on. Now, hold on. We gotta blame. We can't blame this on white people.
Are you, as a white person, gonna tell you, excuse me, you have to go back home. You have to come back Black. You cannot wear that straight hair.
But when they tell us if we wear our hair braided and they say we're not.
Do not conflate. Okay. That's one of the problems why we can't get this conversation straightened out. We conflate, we pivot, okay? And we get shit all crossed up. That is not the same. We are talking about shaming Black women for wearing a press and curl and a relaxer, just like the Black men on this page, on this Google, one being Malcolm X, the other one being
Nat King Cole,
the other one being all of the men who did it for theater, did it for sports, did it for music. They all did it. They still do it today if they want to. We can't blow it out. Natural Hair said he can't even put heat on it. That's being, that's not being natural, even though they'll bleach it and they'll color it. But and it's all of that psychosomatic, neurotic, and it has damaged, in my opinion, the self-esteems and self-values and self-worth, and so many Black women who have the right to be Afrocentric in their selves and in their soul, and that is one of the gifts of being African descending, is that we can do so many things with our hair every day, every week, every month, every season, every spring, every winter. What the hell is the problem? And the problem is that the socio-political, as you would say, psychosexual as well, begins to try to over-police Black women's self-expression. And we all do it to each other. And
I just went on ahead and looked up rappers with press and curl. I mean, the list goes. I mean, they got some of here. I have forgot some of them. I don't even know. Look, we got Bone Thugs. Boom. You better not come in the 216 down on East 99. Or you ain't gonna come out alive if you mess around with Crazy Bone and you mess around with their hair.
Right. And see, and the freedom and the lucidness in which they flow in and out.
And wait, they got wives, y'all. We singling them up out here. They married. They got O's in different area codes. And they rocking this,
Yeah, and just the wonderful lucidness that they're able to express themselves. It's not afforded to Black women, especially.
But Snoop Dogg is not. Snoop Dogg is the epitome of Blackness. But he gets to stay Black with his press. DJ Quick is just like Compton Fools. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he DJ Quick. Morris Day in them, they can stay Morris Day and be African American. But Ladosha is cultural appropriation.
Yeah, as soon as a Black woman does it, as soon as she wears the pink and she wears the eyelashes, and she can't even wear what she wear, and without the pressures of being wives, the pressures of being marriage material, the pressure of being a 304, the pressures of not being a godly woman, the pressure. And so here's the thing, and let me just say this. I believe beauty professionals and natural hair care providers, culturists, African American studies, whatever y'all think y'all doing, whatever y'all call yourselves, the ultimate elevation, in my opinion, is for us to not use the very same weapons that curtails, compress, suppress, oppress, depress our natural expression of who we are with our Afrocentric selves and features. It just doesn't make sense. It's just like enough.
Mm-hmm. So we got Focus Mind. We got a new cousin in the chat. All right. So what's up, Focus Mind? Y'all come on and hit that thumb. I see y'all. We see y'all in here, but they still scared. So right quick.
Do they wait?
Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. All right, Sandra, do this. What Esther like, don't you better get it together. All right. So one day we're gonna have a real show. But so we got Focus Mind. So obviously they're apparently new to the platform, and maybe they just don't know this. So let's give Focus Mind a warm welcome, because we all family up in this joint. You know what I'm saying? So big ups to Focus Mind. Let me see what's happening on Instagram is on fire. What's up, everybody on Instagram? I cannot say all these names, but Instagram, we love you. So her question is, do African American, they're not from here. Okay. Hold on. Question, do African women over there in Africa use perms and relaxers to straighten their hair? And the answer is
hell to the damn yeah.
Yes, they do.
Hell to the damn yeah. They are not fooling up what y'all talking about. They don't have no political, social problems. They don't give a shit about what y'all talking about with no nappy hair. Because at the end of the day, when they straighten their hair, what are they gonna do with their black skin? They gonna put it in their pocket? Their big lips and dark eyes and black. What? How can you gonna be unblack? My God. I mean, and I understand racism has done a job. Black codes and Jim Crow, I get it.
And thank you, Focus Mind, because when I'm gonna tell you, and that's a really good question. Let me give you a big. Cheryl said, "Go ahead on and give you that because that definitely deserves a bomb drop, because that was a really good question." So, all right. We truly appreciate that, because when I went over to Africa, people was like, they don't wear weaves and I bet you they ain't doing it. Oh, baby, they doing everything and then some. They have a whole different. Now, I'm talking about the Gambia. I'm not talking about, this is my little
Senegal.
My little excursion. Now, I know some people like, now you know what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about my experience when I went over there. They passed them wigs around like hats. Okay. I mean, they was like, we was like, Lavina's in the chat. She'll tell you. We like, why y'all passing them wigs around like that? And they said, it's for the white people. So they get it. You know, like they know that certain kinds of white people have a neurosis with the hair. So they just do what they need to do to get through the moment.
They like it. And some like it.
Right. It ain't no biggie. Like, why y'all tripping on? Put it on. Shit. Take it off. You know what I'm saying? You know what's happening, black? What's happening, African? It just ain't that serious, okay? All right, really last topic. We're gonna let y'all up out of here. And so here we have the hairstyles. Now I just picked a generic image. This is the for conversation's sake. All right. So don't be coming after me. All right. But here's the last one.
Let's see. Okay.
So now you have these quote unquote natural hairstyles, right? Okay. And then you have these natural hair products. All right. Okay. Do we believe that, and this is just for sake, that people in antiquity, all right, okay. Now this is not a hairstyle, but to make this wig, okay. Do we really think they use all of this to achieve? So what is with the natural hair movement when we ignoring its history? Because we do not have a history of just oodles and oodles of products on the hair. So how did we go from, some water and some hair grease, a straightening comb, and some, what's that stuff? How did we go Murray's, Murray's oil, how do we go from, just one thing to now you need at least 4 to 5 products to achieve something called a twist out, or
You ready for the answer?
I'm ready.
Okay. You got to give me big screen.
Big screen. Take it out. Okay.
Okay. Y'all ready?
Here we go, guys.
Okay. So when you guys owned the companies, you guys did what you guys gave the customer what was necessary. And so all of a sudden, 1999 comes. And all of a sudden, your grandparents and your parents was able to finance their own companies. And so all of a sudden, you guys couldn't do that. You guys couldn't find a nickel. So you started going to what? White VCs, venture capitalists. Then you need this $1 million, you need that thousand, and thousands and thousands of, boom, boom, boom. And then
we've been trying to get on Shark Tank for a long time, Cheryl. I've been trying to get on Shark Tank.
Then you couldn't do nothing. Then you had to give your equity away to white people for the check, right? And all of a sudden, they said, psst, okay, so you need this. So what you decided to do, okay, we need a butter, we need an oil, we need a regular shampoo, we need a clarifying shampoo, we need this, we need that, we need this beeswax, we need this shea butter, and then we need this edge control.
Don't forget the custard. The custard. You need custard.
Custard and the whip and the salad dressing, and we need and then we just started. Then we need some festivals, and then we need this, that, and the other. And guess who owns the company? That's why you have so many products, because they talked you into having 10 million different goddamn things. And then guess what? Women spend anywhere from $75 to $125, and they're stuck with that shit. So you think about why black people sold you what was necessary. Then you went and got your hair done. Maybe you got some dress, or you got a little oil sheen, maybe. Then, but now that white companies have your brands, there's 15 different products to do what? Nothing.
Give it up for Madam Flair in the house.
You know what I'm saying? So Madam Flair is up on game.
Come on, you girl. You coming?
A money grab. It was a money grab. And now, but you traded it for what? There's a sentence called black owned. And so they understood that if they give you a little ego, and they give you a little star power, and they put you up front. But one of the things that remains to be true, and I'm very serious, that most of those brands that were Hallmark, they didn't even make it out of 10 to 12 years. And I will also be to say that the men and women in the owners of those brands, their mental health is questionable.
Mm-hmm. Come on, Lisette Livingston. I hope I'm reading that right. Yeah, Livingston. You come on, y'all coming through. They coming through the last. We come on. We appreciate this.
You in the 70s through 90s.
Yeah, well, listen here. People coming to hair salon. Let me give y'all big. There you go, baby. You and Madam Flair, you just got to speak your piece, because we're the purpose of the dumbest shit that people say about black hair is that this is why we're so happy you all are here, and we thank you so much, Sandra E, our virtual host, who is asking you guys to click that, hit that thumbs up button, is because we're not the only one.
Yeah,
I mean, I told you guys I got into the hair business from being an outreach worker. I worked in mental health. Yeah. I saw the mental anguish these women were and men were going through over their hair, mulling drugs, having babies, poor eating habits, poor mate selection. And I can relate myself. I ain't gonna even perpetrate out here about this thing called hair. And so I opened a hair salon so that we could be, the people that I would come across could be liberated, because ain't no amount of hair costs that much damn money. I'm here to tell y'all, own this business. It just don't take, ain't no way, as my mother used to say, ain't no way, shape, form, or fashion. Remember that, Cheryl? That's from the 70s, right?
And let me be clear. And I was really actually also talking about the mental health of the former business owners that get their companies taken. and these companies fail. And you have your whole life savings and you have other things, and then you don't have your company on top of it. And so
yeah, we had Miss Jane Carter. Miss Jane Carter was just her life, her whole livelihood. And you guys, we did a whole month with her.
Mm-hmm.
And could you guys not see the anguish and disappointment and just overall just appallment that people did that to her life? And they didn't care. They just didn't care. It don't take all this, y'all. It just, please, for the love of you, even I don't care, you don't care nothing about Black history, who from Tanzania, Puerto Rico, you know, I don't care. Stop it. You know, this is just the dumbest shit. Right here, this picture right here. Ain't no way you need that many products to put no little twists and plaits and color and afros and weaves and wigs and braids. It don't take all this.
No.
It just doesn't. We will I'm sorry, I just put that up right quick. From Selena. What's up, Selena? Coming through the RDT. Oh, hold on, let me go back. Selena says Black have been portrayed as inferior to whites, and anything that appears to be mimicking them, such as long straight hair like white women, is viewed as lacking Blackness. And that's that intellectual laziness that we're asking you guys to not buy into, because all Black people, their hair is not what? Curly, coily. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of Black people with straight hair all over the world, not just, you know.
And let me say that the answer to what AG is trying to say, and our antidote for this is to weaponize straight hair for women, not men. And see, right. and I could believe such a statement if we did not do it for one gender over the other gender, but we don't do it for Black men, but we weaponize it against Black women. And I think that was the point.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And so as we wrap this up, her last statement is, this was seen in the Brown versus Board of Education, where the Black girl identified with the white doll, showing that showing that Black children feel inferior.
And let me just say this: if we can just take the product picture.
Yes, I can. I sure can. Most certainly.
You know, that is, and maybe, and I didn't think about that. In looking back at that, and basically desiring European features, the problem with that theory is that Kenneth Ware and his wife did 2 tests.
And Kenneth Ware would be?
Kenneth Ware is the one that did the original the black white doll test.
All right, so we're gonna wrap it up on this black doll, white doll test in the 1960s, the Brown v. Board of Education.
The 60s. Okay, but the point of the matter is that this is why we are trying to spearhead and try to focus on 25 years of the natural hair movement. This is the reason why it's so important. It's because you guys don't realize that Black children who were educated by Black teachers preferred the black doll. That was the test in Arkansas. They did a second test in Massachusetts, and that's the one that Thurgood Marshall used to desegregate schools. And so we have to be so careful.
So you're telling me there were 2 tests? And we didn't know that there were 2. How many people knew that there were 2 tests with the black doll and the white doll? Selena, can you please answer that? I was not aware that there were 2 tests with the black doll and the white doll. We are all shown that on TV, especially those PBS specials, they always show the little girl picking the white dowel. So I was not aware that there were.
That dovetailed into, because Thurgood Marshall, I think, was the attorney at the NAACP at that time, and he went down to South Carolina to fix a busing issue. Ended up being that he only wanted to use the tests that they did in Massachusetts when the Black children were educated by white teachers. And so it tends to correlate between when Black children are educated by their own people, they prefer Black dolls. They saw Blackness in features, in goodness, in wonderfulness and pride. But when you're miseducated, you're integrated into, and you're taught by white teachers and white educators, the Black children preferred the white doll. And so he used that. But not just focusing on that per se, is just the reason for the season in 2025, after 25 years later of the natural hair movement, why we wanted to focus on the damage that misinformation and sometimes disinformation, depending on if they know it's true or not, but it's more of a reason for us to really get, as we begin to rebuild and unlearn, relearn, just to kind of what was true and what was not.
All right. Well, I would like to thank every single person. You guys rocked it out with us the whole entire time, which means the conversations that we're having is relevant. And so as we work through this issue, we're going to be able to move forward in 2026, but we have to unpack it. We're going to be back next week, and we're going to discuss the natural hair movement being anti-hair salon. Now this one is when I'm just gonna act a fool, so y'all better come on back, because I'm gonna tell y'all what we be experiencing in the hair salon.
Oh my God.
With these people coming in here with this natural hair stuff, because that movement was definitely anti-hair salon. And so so Cheryl, here we go. We're going last statement. Zach Stats. All right. Zach Stats says Cheryl is correct about Thurgood Marshall. Okay. I'm with you, Madam Flair. I'm not a clue. A lot of stuff that I have learned, I have learned in my relationship, with Cheryl, and just growing, my scholarship, my knowledge that she just taught us. So I'm learning a lot, but like I said, initially I struggled. Because I'm like, ain't no white person said this. So, girl, you got to be lying. Thank you, Zach.
Thank you, Zach.
Yeah, there's a lot of us here who just don't know this stuff, and we're here to liberate. And you can go out and just learn more, listen to other people. And even though Cheryl has something to say about school, y'all go to school and stop cut all this looking this stuff. Get off of Google and get your asses into somebody's
into some schools, baby.
Class, okay? At least get some scholarship, all right? So we thank you guys so much, and you know what we say when we are signing out. Again, we're going to be back next week, and we're talking about what? The natural hair movement being anti-hair salon.
25 years, baby.
25 years. We got a lot to unpack here, all right? So you know what we say when we're signing out, right? We're talking about a whole lot of peace, a whole lot of love, and for sure a whole lot of hair, but check it out. If you ain't got it, don't want it, can't stand it, hell, you plan on cutting it off because you're bald head. We're going to do a podcast too on bald heads. It's coming. All right. You got some bald patches. Okay. I got some bald head sisters out here got something to say. Don't worry about that, guys, because all of that is beautiful too. And so are you. And don't forget, please like, share, and subscribe. We're trying to hit 3,000 people. Cheryl said, do this right quick. Here we go.
Pump me on, pump me on.
All right, peace out, my good people. You guys are the bomb.com. We love you. Sure, you ready for the chit chat tonight?
I'm ready.
Bam, bam, bam. He or she said, cancel this damn show. They hate it. What? Hold on. Wait a minute.
hair great again.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Now,
We're coming get our check.
Cheryl, Morrow, the one, the only, the hair oracle.
That was Red Dot, and then we also had a cosmetology school instructor in the chat, Miss Denise West, Michelle Allen, Miss Foster. Dang, I missed your name. It's always nice to see Miss Foster in the chat. Michelle Allen, you know how much we love you too.
What?
Papa,
About a whole lot of peace. Cheryl, you order that in a bag of chips.